So we have the Battleborn 100 amp hour 12 volt LiPo 4 battery that we have to install. I got off of Amazon and it came with the battery monitor from Victron Energy. This is what you get in it. Here's, you're looking at, trying to compare size. It's really small. I thought it was bigger. So once you make your hole, put it in through one side, and I like this because you have a way to secure it to the wall, wherever you're gonna put it. But come in from the back side and it'll secure there. You have your connections here. But like that. And it looks like this is a plate, maybe for aesthetics, but that's your plate. It comes with a couple little screws in there. Cable. So if you look, I have this thing. It comes with these instructions which are helpful. The Ethernet is how it talks to the shunt. Yeah, so you plug it in there for the Ethernet. This is the install for Intech Flyer Explorer. And your power converter that comes with it doesn't come up to your, it doesn't come up high enough to fully charge your lithium battery, right? It's got that boost mode in there to jump up the voltage to actually get it up to where it needs to be. So I contacted Progressive Dynamics and Intech, and they pointed me to this power converter. And I will tell you the one that I got. So this is what I got. Here's what came with it. So it's your Battleborn lithium, and then your Victron battery monitor. I had a gift card and then another discount code. So I paid, it was $19.80 I think I paid, plus shipping and your taxes and whatnot. That's for the Battleborn battery. This is the converter that I bought. Had to get this one. Hopefully it focused in. So that's your part number on there. The one they had before was a little more expensive, or actually like $20 more, but they discontinued it. This is the new version, $177 plus shipping, $19, so $196. But basically you take your old one out and you swap over all your breakers and fuses over to this one and install, is my understanding. We'll find out, but that should be this should be an interesting install. But anyways, so I have the LED lights under the trailer, and I also have the water pump here. I have the fuse box there for those two things, and I have the positive and negative wire coming through here because I don't want to drill another hole. So this I'm gonna have to take off, put it down, because I have to take this thing off that's attached to the tube down here. It's attached to this thing here, and I gotta take all that off. So you gotta take off this power converter here, and it has a square screw on there. So if you don't have one, you're gonna need one, or if you have a different way of taking it off, then hey, more power to you. But so you just have to make sure that you remember where everything is. So all these are gonna have to come out. All this other stuff stays the same, but take your breakers off and then keep your fuses. So yeah, just unscrew all these, take all these cables out. Make sure you take the cables, the wires, sorry, off of these. I don't know if the angle is good enough, but basically just loosen these things up so you can take your cables out. I already got the other side loosened up. Intech, you know you're wrong for having your peoples screw all this the way that they have. And then the breakers, I didn't record myself trying to undo the breakers, but man, those screws on the breakers, I don't know what they used, but I could barely get it out. They used some strong grip strength on those breakers to hold the wires in. What else we got? All right, so we got all these cables too, and this is where then now you have to remember all these. I mean, do you really though? I'm gonna have to cut these zip ties to see where everything is spliced, because everything is spliced together. So that's where I'm gonna have to, actually I'm probably gonna need some tape and then label all these wires. I don't know if I'm not gonna record that because I don't know how long that's gonna take me, but this is all ground. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm taking this from the original converter, fuses, and then I'm marking them. So I'm pulling them out of here. So I'm taking them here. Each fuse has a cable behind it, obviously, right? So I'm pulling them through. The cable that's on the trailer itself, or the camper, I'm marking them with what it is, since this is where I'm gonna untie it. So I'm marking them one by one so that I don't lose track of which one is which. So we got the other one out, marked all the wires coming out of it. I replaced the breakers from the old one to the new one. Now this one has it set up differently as your fuse wires going out the back. However, never seen that grommet type, so I'm not sure how to release this, but I can't see which cable is which. My thought was to push these cables in, wiggle them around, but these grommets are pressed tight against it that it doesn't let them wiggle in and out, so I can't tell which one's which isn't a huge problem. I just connect them and then play with the lights and radio and see what fuse is which. As long as I know that's power and that's the fridge, everything else is just everything else. To not have to deal with that, I want to figure out which one is which so I can better mark it all down. And then I just run the power, the short power cable through there, and then out to everything else. So I marked the line. With this one, if you're using this power converter, you're gonna have to cut a piece off of the actual wall. So I'm cutting over just on one side, not on both. Cutting over some so that it fits, because it just doesn't fit. And I had read and I'll put this through. Hopefully it's big enough, if my measurements are right. I like to measure once and cut twice, so we'll see. Now there's sawdust everywhere. And ooh, look at that. Oh, just a little bit more. Okay, yeah. All right. Like a glove. So since I can't move that grommet and find out which one's which, for now I'm just basically wiring these together, and then I'll test it, find out which one's which. Once everything works properly, then I'll put on connectors with some heat shrink on there, or just leave them like that. Yeah, as long as I connect all the ones that were on there, should be good. Should is a dangerous word, I know. But these are all the 12 volt DC between the lights, radio, what else? The refrigerator. This is not how you want to leave them connected though. And luckily from previous projects, I got all right, now for the fun part. You know what I should have done? One at a time instead of all at the same time. This one. Got the first one, that's short power connected. If you've never done this, I recommend doing the installing your, if you've never done this before, right? I found it easier just to install the copper first, right? And then your neutral with your hot. I guess just the way it was set up. I mean, however you want to do it, but I just got these other two left. And then we should have, actually no, I gotta install the battery. But once I install all this and put the fuses in, everything in the back is already spliced with duct or electrical tape, as I showed you, but almost done. So here I'm just laying down everything, not laying down, laying out everything, so I can make sure that it works before I actually set it up where I need to. The battery's here, the shunt is here, ground to the system is on this side, and then I need a ground from here to battery. So, or not ground, but sorry, negative. So So what I'm gonna do is use cable that I had at the cable that I had in the garage already, cut it with enough, you know, slack in there, and just use the negative side of it. Well, oh shit. I wasn't supposed to put this one on there. Bloopers. So why am I doing this temporarily and not just finishing the job, or make sure that everything's hooked up with proper connectors and whatnot? Well, I didn't see any videos on the way that I'm setting it up on the Explorer. I'm doing it like just temporarily, right? Like I'm setting it up and not putting permanent connectors on there because I want to make sure that everything works, and then I'll do that. If I do everything and it doesn't work properly, then I have to cut more wire instead of just taking the electrical tape off or unscrewing some things. So that's the reason for that. So if you're doing Battleborn with a Victron, hook all your stuff up first and your negative on the battery last. So let's see. Got to do the inside. All right, so I installed everything. I went through the wizard of it, or wizard, whatever it's called. But 13.35, and you're going through your different readouts. I'm sure we're not drawing anything right now. I am going to switch this to on, and hopefully nothing blows. Let's see if anything changed here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and check everything. Actually, no, I don't have any fuses in anything, so gotta install some fuses and check around and see. I'll cut the video here. I'll figure out the fuse stuff afterwards, but I'll come back when everything is installed properly and hooked up and show you all the end product. I won't run you through everything else. With the Victron, and boom. I think what I'm gonna do while I have my neighbor's tools, install a switch for the radio. Probably over here somewhere. Just before you make this, make sure there's no cables on the other side. I'll show you the other side in a second. So there it is. I just connect the cable, the Ethernet cable, and the switch. I think I'm gonna put here. Just gotta make sure I don't hit any of that. So this is the switch. If you have the Intech, you know the radio, the blue lights are bright at night especially. So not that they bother me too much, but I figured I had this in the garage. So I'm just gonna install, probably make a hole there or over here. I gotta go on the other side and see. And yeah, install this switch in there so I can turn the radio on and off. There's the Victron. So I just put tape on this side, taped it up so I can hold it and spin it from the back to screw it on. This is where I made the hole for the switch for the radio, and that's where I'm gonna put it here. Alright, so here's the final setup. It's the 100 amp hour Battleborn lithium battery. Came with the shunt and then the Victron battery monitor that I put in through there. But I got that there, I got that screwed in to the base. The battery, I'll probably figure something else out later, but right now I have 4 strips of the industrial 3M tape on the back. So I know this carpet holds a lot, so that's it'll work. It's not moving. So this is the hole that's left over from when you take your battery out. I also installed the switch for the radio so that at night I can turn that off. That's up there. There's a lot of cleaner wire work that I've seen, but with working with what I got without having to buy a whole bunch of extra stuff. Zip ties, I zipped them back to the wall where I could, and this works for now. So the Victron monitor there, and then the switch for the radio I put there, and here I had to trim up here so that the breakers that came with the camper on the other converter could fit. So I had to trim the top all up here for it to fit. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask, comment. I'm not sure what the next install is going to be, but this was a fun project. Thanks for watching. Peace.